The war for Ukraine's independence and freedom against invading Russia continues. The armed forces of Ukraine are doing everything possible to stop and destroy the enemy that is encroaching on their territory. Ukrainians are ruthlessly destroying Russian equipment and occupiers, clearing Ukrainian land of invaders, making it obvious that they are not welcome here. Today, I'm going to show you the best real-life battles from the past week that were caught on camera. I am Hustler. Let's get started. Kurakhove direction. The Russian occupiers are trying to break through the Ukrainian defense in large groups and push the front line even further. As a result, they are met by Ukrainian air defense with drones, which ruthlessly destroys their equipment. The Russian occupiers were not prepared for such strong pressure from Ukrainian drones. The Russian occupiers were successfully defeated before realizing their intentions to seize new territory. And this was the next brigade of Russians who tried to quickly break through the defense of the Ukrainians, who had just destroyed the occupiers' column in the same direction. Most likely, the Russians were thinking of taking the Ukrainians by aggressive assault, hoping that the defenders would not be able to repel many attacks so quickly. But it did not happen. The Russian occupiers were defeated with huge losses. Russians who are trying to seize Ukrainian land should realize that this is a one-way ticket. They will not return to Russia on their own 2 feet. Ukrainians are on their own land. They will ruthlessly destroy anyone who tries to take away their freedom. Ukrainian intelligence spotted another Russian convoy moving toward Ukrainian positions. Ukrainian artillery delivered a powerful fire strike that destroyed some of the equipment. The remaining tanks that survived the attack were destroyed by shells from unmanned aerial vehicles and kamikaze drones. The Ukrainian military successfully accomplished their task, having worked professionally on the enemy. And this is the Ukrainian military in the Kursk region under smoke cover clearing landings, with the Russians using an Abrams tank and a Bradley armored anti-tank vehicle. After successful clearing of the site, tanks returned to Ukrainian positions. In the Kharkiv sector, Ukrainian intelligence recorded the redeployment of Russian troops. Taking advantage of this moment, the Ukrainian military began destroying military equipment along with the occupiers. After a targeted strike on the Russians, the occupiers had to hide in a forest belt, but Ukrainian drone operators were able to find them there as well. A Russian tank spotted by a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone hit a mine and completely detonated. This is a Russian truck with ammunition, which will detonate in a few seconds after a Ukrainian drone strike and make a big fireworks display. And this is Toretsk, Donetsk region. This building was mined by the Ukrainian military. The Russian occupiers, not knowing that there were explosives inside the building, occupied it. After that, the Ukrainian military remotely blew it up together with the occupiers. After the failed offensive, the Russian military tried to flee the battlefield in 2 tanks, but they were out of luck. The Ukrainian military used drones to shoot down 1 tank and then destroyed the next one. Here, Ukrainian drone operators noticed the redeployment of Russian troops. Seizing the moment, they destroyed 2 armored personnel carriers with the occupiers. And another Russian armored personnel carrier that was destroyed by a Ukrainian drone. Another Russian armored personnel carrier hit a Ukrainian mine and exploded. Only scrap metal remained of the armored vehicle. The Ukrainian town of Selidov, Russian military opened fire on a car with 2 civilians. The fire came from the direction of the bridge, where the Russian occupiers had set up an ambush. The passenger of the car was injured and could not move. 2 Ukrainian soldiers came out of the fortification to evacuate the civilians. One of them provided first aid. And the other Ukrainian serviceman provided fire cover. As a result of the coordinated actions, the civilians were successfully evacuated and the victim received medical assistance. This is another attempt by the Russian military to break through the Ukrainian front. The invaders' brigade consisted of 6 pieces of military equipment. The first tank in the convoy was a Russian tank that opened fire on Ukrainian positions. It was also the first to be hit by a Ukrainian javelin. But this time, the hit was weak and the tank continued to move. The Ukrainian military then loaded another charge and fired a control shot. The tank was neutralized. Then, a Ukrainian tank arrived on the battlefield and destroyed a Russian armored personnel carrier with infantry with a well-aimed shot. The Russian military began to flee, but most of them were neutralized. Thank you, friends. That's all for today. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the latest developments. This video was prepared by Hustler. See you soon.